This is one GitHub repository, just code sitting on a page like the thousands you've scrolled past. But watch what happens when I stop reading it and start changing one thing: the web address. I'm going to give this single repo 13 different superpowers without installing anything, without cloning anything, without typing a single command, just by swapping the domain in the URL. One of them turns this entire code base into a single message you can paste into any AI. One turns it into a live diagram. One turns it into something Claude can actually talk to, so it stops making up code that doesn't exist. Most developers know maybe two of these. By the end of this video, you'll know all 13. Let's break it. Here's the trick underneath all of it, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look at any GitHub link. It's just github.com slash the owner slash the repo. That last part, the owner and the repo, is like an address that points at this specific project. And here's the secret: a whole ecosystem of tools has quietly agreed to copy that exact same address shape. So you can take any repo, leave the owner and repo name exactly where they are, and just change github.com to something else. Change the domain and you change what the page can do. Same repo, different superpower. That's the entire game. You're not learning 13 tools. You're learning one move 13 times. So let's start swapping. Let's start with the move that should already be in your muscle memory. And there are 3 quick ways to pull it off. You're looking at a repo and you want to actually poke around the code, not GitHub's clunky file view. So, 2 ways. Easy mode, just press the period key on your keyboard, the dot. Do it on any repo, and the whole thing opens in a full Visual Studio code editor, right there in your browser. Same thing if you change github.com to github.dev. Real editor. Search across every file, jump to definitions, 0 download, 0 setup. Prefer the classic look? Swap in github1s.com instead. Same idea. Instant VS Code in the cloud. This is the difference between squinting at code through a keyhole and walking around inside the house. And it took you one keystroke. You won. Next one. You open a brand new repo and you have no idea how the pieces fit together. Which file calls what, where the data flows, what the actual shape of this thing is. So instead of reading every file like a detective, change github.com to gitdiagram.com. Give it a second and it reads the whole repository and draws you an interactive architecture diagram. The real structure, the modules, how they connect, the flow. And it's clickable. Tap any box in the diagram and it jumps you to that exact folder in the code. For understanding a code base you've never seen, this is hours of work compressed into about 10 seconds. New job, new open source project, a repo a client just handed you. Diagram first, then dive in. Now, this next one changes how you actually work, so pay attention. You want to ask an AI about a whole code base. So what do most people do? They open files one at a time and paste them in, file after file, losing their mind. Stop. Change github.com to gitingest.com. In one shot, it flattens the entire repository, every file, the whole structure, into a single clean block of text, formatted specifically to hand to an AI. One copy, one paste, the whole project. It even counts the tokens for you, so you know if it'll fit your model's limit. And if you live in the terminal, there's a command line version too, so you can pipe a whole repo straight into your prompt without ever opening a browser. This is the end of copy-pasting files into ChatGPT one by one. You stop feeding the AI crumbs and you hand it the whole meal. This next swap is my personal favorite because it fixes the most annoying thing AI does: You ask Claude or Cursor about a library, and it confidently invents a function that does not exist. Hallucinated code. So here's the fix. Take any repo, change github.com to gitmcp.io, and that link becomes a live server your AI assistant can plug into. In the trade, it's called an MCP server, but you don't need the jargon. What matters is this: instead of guessing from old training data, your AI now reads the actual current code and docs straight from that repo in real time. You paste that one link into your editor's settings, and the hallucinations stop. The library's owner doesn't have to do anything, any public repo. It just works. This is how you make your AI tell the truth. Sometimes you don't want the raw code at all. You want to understand it in plain English. So change github.com to deepwiki.com. It generates a full Wikipedia style wiki for the repo, written for humans. Overview, how it works, the key concepts, the architecture, all auto generated. And here's the magic part: there's a box where you just ask a question about the code base in plain words, and it answers, citing the actual files. Ask, where does training start? And it points you to the exact line. It's like the original author is sitting next to you, patiently answering every dumb question and never getting tired. Want even more? Swap in github.gg and you get a whole control panel for the repo, a one click copy for AI, an automatic security scan, a code quality score. Same goal every time. Understand a stranger's code base in minutes, not days. Reading a repo is one thing. Sometimes you just want to run the thing right now without setting up a whole environment on your machine. So, change github.com to stackblitz.com, and the project boots up in a real working development environment in your browser. It pulls the code, installs, and runs in seconds. Now you want AI to start editing it with you? Here's the killer one: swap in bold.new instead, and it imports the entire repository into an AI powered builder, repo already loaded, and an agent standing by to change it, fix it, and ship it. No clone, no install, no dependency hell. The repo goes from static code you're reading to a running app you're editing with an AI in the time it takes to read this sentence. Two quick ones before we land, and these are about Signal. First, before you trust a repo, you want to know, is this thing actually alive or is it hype that already died? Go to star-history.com and drop the repo in, and you get a graph of its stars over time. A steady climb means a healthy, growing project. A flat line or a cliff tells you to be careful. It's a lie detector for open source momentum. And the last one, just because it's wild. Swap in gitpodcast.com and it turns a code repository into an actual audio podcast. Two voices explaining the project, like a tech show about your code. Is it essential? No. Will you send it to a developer friend who won't believe it exists? Absolutely. Okay, real talk. Because 13 tools is a lot, and I'm not going to pretend you'll use all of them every day. So here's my honest ranking after living with these. The ones that earn a permanent spot in your brain: 3. The period key for instant VS Code, gitingest for feeding code to AI, and gitmcp for stopping hallucinations. Those three you'll use this week, guaranteed. The strong situational picks, deepwiki and git diagram, when you're thrown into an unfamiliar code base and need to get oriented fast. Genuinely useful, just not daily. And then the fun tier, Git Podcast. And friends, you'll try once, grin, and show someone. That's not an insult, that's just honest. Don't try to memorize 13. Burn those top three into muscle memory and let the rest live on a cheat sheet, which, don't worry, I made for you. Now, the part the listicle videos skip because you need to hear it. Almost all of these are third party tools, not GitHub itself. Two big things follow from that. One, most of them only work on public repositories. And please, do not paste your company's private code, your secrets, or your API keys into a random website's text box to feed an AI. For private and sensitive work, the safe ones are the first party moves, the period key and github.dev, because that's just GitHub's own editor. Nothing leaves their walls. 2. This ecosystem moves fast. Tools appear, get popular, and sometimes quietly go offline. The mechanic, swapping the domain on the repo path, that's forever. Any single tool, no guarantees. So learn the move, not just the menu. That way, when a new one launches next month, you already know exactly how to use it. I put all 13 of these on one clean printable cheat sheet. Every trick, the exact domain to swap in, and what each one is actually good for. So you never have to remember it from memory. If you want it, just comment the word swap and I'll send it straight to you, free. I post quick AI moves like these every single day over on Instagram and Facebook, and the full deep dives like this one live right here on YouTube. So if you'd rather learn the move than chase the hype, hit subscribe and I'll keep doing the digging so you don't have to. Now go grab any repo you're curious about, change github.com to gitingest.com and watch the whole thing turn into one message. That's your first swap. Go.